Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's Monday, January 20th, 2025, and I'm out here in the big red barn shooting this video. It's too cold outside, at least for me, to do much of anything. It got down to 12 last night, and it's 27 right now. It's 37 in here, and inside the apartment it's about 50 degrees. I keep some space heaters in there set on low to keep pipes from freezing, and I also got a little space heater back here in the corner in a little enclosure that keeps my my well switch and pressure tank warmed up in there so those pipes don't freeze, and it stays about, it doesn't get much lower than 40 degrees in there. So today this video is going to be two things. I want to be messing with some wax. I'm going to try to do some of those 10-inch candles, and also I'm testing out my new microphone. In fact, I got two of them, and my last video that mic was crackling, and it was the cord down here where it connected to the transmitter, and once my shirt or something started bumping it, at one point it just totally quit altogether. So today I'm going to be trying out this new mold that I got at the North America Honeybee Expo, and it is the 10-inch tapered candles. You can see it's got 8. It will do 8 at a time. And from what I've heard and some comments people told me about this, it's pretty tricky to get the wicks aligned up in here. I did do some reading from some comments on the Mann Lake site where people did reviews, and they talked about how they did it. So I'm going to try and do some of that. One person said that the way they did it, it blocked off the center too, and they were only able to do 6 at a time. But I think I figured out a way that I can do this, and I can do all 8. So I'm going to get some copper wire that I've got and get the wick out if I've got it. I need to check and make sure I've got this 2/0 wick and get them started. And there should be holes down in the bottom of this, yeah, where the wick goes through, and I'm going to have to build me a little tool to fish that wick through so I can grab it and pull it through. Anyway, let's get started here. Something I did yesterday, I actually came out here and I did filter the wax one time that I got out of that old nasty comb, and I'll insert in here a shot of some of that that's still left so you can see the type of comb I'm talking about. So these are the type of frames that most of that came out of. That one there's not actually that bad. A lot of these have the wax moth web in them. I wanted to show you the yield I got out of my wax. The wax I got out of my old brood frames, and some of them were from the wax moth disaster. I just wanted to see if it was worth the time to try and get some of that wax out of those old brood frames. So it was a lot of scraping, and it was full of wax moth webs on a lot of them. But you can see the thickness that I got, not much. You can see the colorization of the wax. It's not a good quality. I'm going to go ahead and melt this, and then I'm going to filter it through some cloth, and then I'll pour it out into a little mold and see how much I got. This is a brood comb, and I actually filtered that and poured it out into some molds yesterday, and see what it looks like. And it's some dark stuff. Yeah, it matches my coat. And you almost can't see it. And it's not the best smelling wax either. I mean, it smells okay. It has kind of a little bit, I may have got it too hot. It has a little bit of a like a burnt smell, a little bit like you burnt something. But this here was the pour from the very bottom of the container, so there's a little bit of stuff on the bottom of that. But this one here is pretty clean. It's just dark, and the bulk of it's right here in this 1 pound block. See if I can get it out of here. And I put the cami mold release on this. Cami 1080. So if you're going to be messing with these silicone molds, you need to get you some of this. And I purchased this from Mann Lake, and I think you can get it on Amazon too. If so, I'll put a link below to it. It's kind of sticking anyway. Yeah, if those tapered candles stick like that, and I won't be able to get them out. That's stuck pretty good. Maybe I need to put more. I sprayed it pretty good, I thought. Plus, I didn't put it in the freezer, and sometimes if you do that, it's supposed to help get them out of the mold, which it's not far from being in the freezer, just sitting right here. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, same color. And this is a 1 pound block. So I will probably melt this and use this to put on my foundation. So do my wax coating with this, because you don't want to make candles with that or anything. It doesn't smell too bad. It's different. So also, I sorted out my other wax that I've got. Let me show you that real quick. So I sorted out my wax between the lighter and darker. And that's an old lid I made with a Schrader valve, so you could pressure this up on a honey bottling with a 5-gallon bucket. And it worked, but it is a little scary, as you could imagine. So you can see the difference in these waxes here. That's probably not much darker or lighter than that other one. Yeah, you can see the difference. That's got a little bit of, so when wax gets older, it gets that kind of white finish on it where I guess it kind of dries out. But yeah, you can see the difference. And this wax here has like a lot of burr comb that I scraped off during the year and made wax out of that. So you can see that. And then here's the lighter colored stuff. And this is scented. I put some like apple pie scent in that. That's why it's in a bag. But yeah, you can see this lighter colored wax, the difference in it. So this is what I like to make candles with. And I do coat my frames with it. I'll use this right here. And that's mainly what this is for. Okay, let's get over here and let's get some wick out of this tub and see if I can get that mold set up. And I want to melt me a couple of these and get them ready. So it says it takes, let's look real quick. So when you get one of these molds, always hang on to the packaging and keep it in that, because right here it tells you the wick and the size or how much wax it takes to fill it. So it says wick 2/0 wax 14.5 ounce. So it takes 14.5 ounces to fill this. So these are 1 pound, so that's 16 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and melt 2 of them, and I can use the rest of the wax. I'll just let it solidify in the melter, and I'll use it for something else later on, for a different candle or some lip balm or something else. So I use this roaster oven, melt my wax for like the big cappings and all of that, and I'll strain it through a paint strainer, a 5-gallon paint strainer, and pull it out. And also I use it to, I'll melt these little blocks and roll it with the roller, and that's how I coat my frames. So that's what I use this for. So this week I did order a big pot that's 84 quarts, and also like the turkey fryer, the big propane heater that you can boil it with. So I'm going to try and work on those frames out there with that, and just cut them out, and I may just throw some of those frames in there whole and see if it'll work that way. So let's get this out of the way. Yeah, there's all the honey supers there. I think I've got 40, something like that. Get my melter right here and get those in there, get it started. So I've got 2 of these. I've got this small one and I've got this bigger one. This one holds a lot more, obviously. And you can see I've got some wax in there from where I made some candles before. And yeah, that's the scented. I can smell the apple pie in there. So those candles that I made before, they were mainly Christmas presents. This is kind of weird. This thing's magnetic, and the magnet doesn't hold it very good, so you gotta always have it on something. And it goes from like warm to 400 degrees, so you definitely don't want to scorch your wax. So you don't want it much over like about 160, I believe. So I put it on the M on warm, and that's a little ways down from 200, and that seems to warm it up pretty fast and melt pretty fast. But if you see your wax kind of bubbling, that's too hot. You don't want it that hot. Okay, this tote here is where I keep all my candle making stuff. My molds, oils, things that you would mix to make like chapstick. Here's my 1 ounce molds. These are plastic molds, and they really work good. I thought they worked terrible at first because I wasn't doing it right. What you do is, after your wax cools off, put them in the freezer and get them out, and the wax just falls right out. But otherwise, I was beating the crap out of them, and I could not get the wax out. So yeah, these actually work better than the silicone mold as far as getting your wax out of there. So those are 1 ounce bar molds. These are like hand lotion. For like a lotion bar that you would rub, and it would like moisturize your hands, and we make some of that out of beeswax and other oils. Haven't done that in a long time. That's kind of my wife's department. So cocoa butter, coconut oil, which that's probably solid, yeah. And here's some wax that she is shaved. She has a real tiny wax melter that she uses when she makes the lip balm. So you can see I've kept all the labels on my candles so I know how much they use. And also I wrote on the bottom with the Sharpie, number 2 wick, 80 ounces. So there's a little beehive with a bear on it. There's a square candle. I think I've got a pine cone. And there's the 3 little votive things. There's kind of a trapezoid, not a trapezoid, a hexagon, pentagon. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a stop sign, whatever the crap that is. There's the pine cone. And kind of a bigger pine cone texture type thing. If you can see that. Anyway, we got in here to look for wick. Here's some filters. Here's her little wax melter right here that she uses. Here's some of the, like the lotion things. We put it in kind of like a deodorant roller. It's like a giant chapstick. So yeah, it's a little dry now. Plus it's cold out here. But yeah, that moisturizes your hand. And smells like coconut chocolate. So this is 60, and this is the number 2 right here. So I'm guessing that's 60 and this is 20 is how it's designated. I don't know, maybe that is actually called 60, but the 60 is a lot bigger than the 2, as you can see. And most of the molds I've noticed do use the number 2. Yeah, this is melting pretty darn fast. I might want to turn that down a little bit. It's not bubbling though, like I'm scorching it. Okay, I added this piece of cardboard. Give me a little bit cleaner surface to work on than this nasty old table. So all of those silicone molds come from Mann Lake. And this one I bought at the Expo. I got it for $95 plus tax. So I want to be sure and keep this because it's got the information there and keep that inside of it. And they come with some instructions that help you with how to do it. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make me a little tool to fish my wax through here, and I'm going to use some electric fence wire to make that out of, because it's pretty thin and it won't mess up these holes down here. Okay, I've got me a piece of electric fence wire here. I use this wire for just about everything. It's real strong, it doesn't rust. So I'll put my wick in that little eye and I'll feed it through here. We don't need it to be quite that long. Basically, it's just a giant needle. Start on the bottom and work my way up. There it goes. Almost did make it before it popped out. So there's one. I want to make this as long as that now. There. That way, if it pulls loose, I'll still get it. So if you're going to be making a whole bunch of candles, and the way I seen it done, and it was Bob Benny that put out the video, they have all their wick on rods up above, and they just pull it down, run it through the candles, and they run it through the opposite direction, and they just leave it connected, and when the wax dries, they snip it right where it needs to be snipped, so they don't waste as much wick. And see how much wick I've got hanging out here? So they would cut those off right where they needed to be, instead of being long like that. But I'm not making them in bulk like they do. I'll do one run like this and I'll be done. Or I'll get multiple molds over there ready and get them all set up, and I'll pour them. So you can see I'm getting the wick to the right length up here that I want. So I'm going to have to be able to tie a knot up here at the top and tie it over my centering device. And so I need enough there to be able to manipulate the tie and not pull it out from the bottom either. Yeah, I'm kind of dreading trying to get these out. Maybe they'll retract enough they'll pop out easy. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to lay these across here and tie these wicks such that they'll be in the middle, and I'll be able to slide it a little bit. And I'm going to put these popsicle sticks to kind of give a little bit of space. Yeah, I may need something to like lift this thing up at some point. If I can get that tighter. I can pull the string down below. That'll help. So I'll pull these down tight off the bottom like that. I'm feeling pretty good about this. So I'm going to go ahead and put these right here just to bring that wire up a hair. All right, so now I want to get them tight. And then center them up. And that's what it looks like. So here's my little wax container, little pitcher that you dump your wax out of your melter into this little pitcher. It's got a little pointy nose on it so you can pour from it. And I'll use that to pour it into the mold. And I almost forgot a very important step to spray the mold release into these. All right. Get these put back. So since it's so cold out here, I'm going to hit some of this with the heat gun. So this nozzle, the wax might solidify in there, so I'm going to heat that up, and I'm going to heat up this a little bit as well. Hopefully the wax will come out. Yeah. And we had a vacuum pulled in there too. That was part of the problem. There you can see it coming out. All right, I don't want it too full because I want to be able to pour at an angle. Wow, it seems to be going in pretty good. Even pouring over that wick there. Get these last three. Looks like they're still centered up good. And beeswax contracts quite a bit, what I've discovered, when it cools. You're not going to make a huge beeswax candle unless you do it bit by bit. Poured my excess wax back in the melter. We'll just leave it in there. Okay, I got it loaded. It looks promising. There's not wax just pouring out of the bottom. That's a good thing too. So you want to make sure you don't damage the bottom of that where the wick goes through, because it's got to hold the wax in there. So you got to be really careful with that little hole. And I think it's going to work out if I can just get them out of there. So we'll come back tomorrow and check this out, and hopefully I can get them out of there, and it'll be a pretty cool video. So, and my microphone, hopefully it worked out okay. See you tomorrow. And bam, it's the next day. So this is all done, and man, this morning it got down to 0 degrees. It's actually 0.3 on my weather station, so I'm going to round that down to 0. And it was like about 17 in here during the day, and it warmed, or that night, and it got up to, it's 30 degrees right now in here. And so today, I didn't make it into work. We had to take Maggie to the vet. She had a cyst on her back that was about 1/3 the size of a tennis ball, and we had that removed, and we went and picked her up about 5 o'clock. So it's about 7:30 now. I know I'm hungry, so I want to finish this and get in there and go eat something. But I was watching Mike Berry on his channel. He put out a video today, and it's snowing in Louisiana. So the weather is crazy. So let me get you a shot of this so you see what they look like. So you can see some cavities down there kind of by the wick on a few of these. There you can kind of see one right there. And some of the candles are actually sort of separated off from the side, like right there you can see. So I think they may come out easier than what I was thinking. I grabbed some pliers, you know, just in case. Let me get a close-up of this so you can see them coming out of there, hopefully. Kind of pulling these wires. Oh, this side's loose. That one right there is free. Let's pull these popsicle sticks out of the way. I think these 3 here might just slide right out. Man, look at that. This is way easier what I anticipated. Of course, it ain't out of there yet. Oh, I was like, what's holding it? So, that wick's over in that one. Snip that off. And the wick going down through the bottom, you know, is kind of some resistance too. Looks like I got it about all out of there. Oh yeah. Ta-da! Yeah, check that out. Those look great. They're straight. They don't look deformed. So I do need to work on the bottoms and melt that and flatten that out. That is pretty darn cool. See if I can get the rest out of there. Yeah, those are pretty. And they're straight. So yeah, you got to pull that wick up through there. Yep, there they come. There's two more. Sweet. So yeah, being cool in here, the Cami 1080 mold release, I think that made the difference. They sure came out way easier than that old chocolate looking block came out of that 1 pound silicone mold. That's what made me nervous, is how hard that came out. So these weren't that bad at all. Yeah, check them out. That's kind of odd there. It kind of broke. What do y'all think? I'm excited. I know my wife will be. She'll like those. And it's the same run of wax, so they're all the same color. So the next run I make, if I add more wax to that, they're going to be a little bit different tint depending on the wax I use. Yeah, so I'd call that a success for the first time. I'm excited. There they are again. There's one of the groups of 3. So it is weird how it kind of broke right there. And I'm thinking that happened. Well, I don't know, because I didn't pull that apart. I don't believe I did. It didn't come out that hard. There's 2 of them that did that. There may have been bubbles in there or something. So I'm just sliding them off of there. That's one that's broke on the bottom. There you go. That's it. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.